Today was the day. It was Thunder McKing's last season of racing. The rookie had finally become the vet. Vroom vroom. His engine started, the exhaust grumbling and the ground shaking. The King lined up for the first race of the season. Red light, green light. The tires screeched and the cars were off. The King was up at first like usual, flying around the corners like no one else. You would think he was the fastest car to exist. McKing can see the finish line. He was ready to take the checkered flag, when all of a sudden, the slick car named Johnny Twister squeezed by and sped past him as if he was standing still. McKing was in disbelief. He had never lost before. McKing lined up for the second race. He had raced this track 100 times. He knew every dip, turn, hump, bump, and crack of this track, but he wasn't confident in winning. Would he lose this race too? The green light flashed and they were off. McKing held first place, defending his spot as the champion. He felt fast, faster than he was ever before. The white flag was waved, signaling one lap left. This was McKing's chance to show everyone that he was still a top contender. Then, seconds later, Johnny Twister passed McKing for the second time. McKing felt defeated. All McKing can think of were the flashbacks of Johnny Twister passing him for the win. Charlie the tractor, McKing's best friend, had never seen McKing like this before. He tried to cheer up McKing, but nothing was working. Not his favorite food, or even his favorite show. McKing hid in his garage for days. He refused to come out and face the world. All he wanted to do was remember the good times when he was a rookie. His friend Charlie tried one last time to cheer McKing up. He began to remind McKing of the great racer he had always been. "You used to win every race. You were exactly like Johnny Twister." Charlie reminded McKing to get back on the track because racing was something he loved. "Be grateful for all the glory and wins you have earned, but realize that the losses do not take away from the memorable race car that you are." The next day was the final race. McKing lined up against Johnny Twister, dreading the start. He did not want to be beaten again. The green light flashed and the cars were off. McKing had quickly passed by Johnny Twister, putting him in second place. This oddly did not upset McKing. He thought about Charlie's wise words. Instead of being sad, he felt proud for all of the fame and glory that he had been awarded in the past. He crossed the finish line with the feeling of relief and congratulated Johnny Twister on his win.
Once upon a time, there was a family of butterflies and one caterpillar. In this family of butterflies, there was a young caterpillar named Bella. Bella was the baby of the family and was very scared of her journey ahead. She was scared of going into a cocoon. She feared getting eaten or kidnapped while going through the process. When Bella leaves the house, she's terrified. She fears for her life because her mom, dad, and older siblings all fly high up in the air, leaving her behind. While her family and friends flew up in the air, the other birds, butterflies, and bees would pick on Bella. But after a while, even Bella's friends that couldn't fly started to leave her out as well. Bella started to feel bad about herself and started to self-isolate even more. She finally asked her mom about the journey of becoming a butterfly. Her mom told her how scared she was for the change, and Bella was surprised that her mom was scared. She had never seen her mom show fear. Her mom told her about the time she spent in her cocoon and about how amazing she felt that she could finally fly. Bella's mom told her that there was no point of being scared and that she felt incredible having the ability to fly. She loved flying high up in the air to the tippity tops of the highest trees and taking pollen from the prettiest flowers. After speaking to her mom about the way that she felt, Bella realized that if her mom could do it, so could she. Bella got into that cocoon and decided to let go of being a caterpillar. She decided that she had to go through change and put in the work in order to become who she really wanted to be and fly as high as her mom could. After 21 days, Bella came out of her cocoon as a beautiful butterfly and began to fly with the rest of her family, finally being included.
On the sunniest summer morning of the year, Mouse watched in the shade under the tallest pecan tree. He gasped and whistled from the sidelines as Deer danced in the large clearing. Her long legs moved with grace, ending with a bow. Mouse cheered, but his little voice went unheard. The other animals applauded loudly, and the deer thanked them. Late at night, Mouse nuzzled deeper in his straw nest. "I wish I could dance like that," he sighed. "Maybe if we were friends, she would teach me." Reflecting on his tiny body and short legs, he felt unsure. Someone so tall and big would never notice a small animal like me. That night, Mouse decided he needed a plan. The next day, Deer danced in the clearing once again. Other animals joined in. The wolf howled, the toad hopped, and the fox sneaked. Mouse took a deep breath of courage and joined the party. When Mouse tried to dance, he tripped over his little legs and fell to the ground with a thump. When Mouse got up, the party was over, and Deer hadn't noticed him. Feeling desperate, the mouse climbed up the tallest pecan tree the next warm evening and waited. When Deer began to dance with the other animals, Mouse jumped up and down and hard as he could on the branch. Just when he thought Deer was about to notice, Mouse slipped and fell with a bang. Mouse ran off deep into the forest, upset that Deer hasn't noticed him. He was so lost in his thoughts that he didn't notice he almost tripped over a bunny. "I'm sorry, you're very small, so I didn't notice you," Mouse said, stopping in front of her. Bunny smiled. "That's quite all right, little one, but why do you seem so sad?" Mouse looked down. "I'm trying to get Deer to notice me so she can teach me how to dance, but I'm so small, no matter what I do, she just doesn't see me." "Why don't you just talk to her?" she suggested. "There's no need to show off. Be yourself, no matter how small you may be." The next morning, Mouse nearly approached Deer. "What if she doesn't hear me? What if she doesn't even like me?" Mouse began to think this was a bad idea. He wanted to turn away and run away. But before he knew it, he was in front of her. Suddenly, Mouse remembered that Bunny's wise words and took a deep breath. Excuse me, Deer, would you like to be friends?" Deer looked down at Mouse and smiled. "I'd love to." During the best summer of the year, Mouse and Deer danced together every day. Deer showed the mouse the laziest places to lay in the grass, and Mouse showed Deer where to find the little treasures hidden in the forest. Mouse realized that making friends isn't about trying to impress them, it's about them treating you with kindness, no matter what.
The journey of Jay's homework. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jay who loved to play. He spent every afternoon riding his bike, climbing trees, and pretending to be a superhero. Jay always had the best adventures. But there was one thing Jay didn't like: homework. While his friends sat down to do their assignments after school, Jay would rush outside to play. "Homework can wait," he thought. "I've got more fun things to do." Weeks went by, and Jay's friends kept turning in their homework while he continued to play. Soon his grades started to drop, but Jay was still having fun. One day, his teacher, Mrs. Carter, handed out report cards, and Jay's grades were lower than ever. He even earned an F in math. He frowned. This was not fun. That night, Jay's parents sat down with him. Jay's mom looked very serious when she began to speak. "We know you love playing, but your grades aren't looking good. You need to start doing your homework. Homework helps you practice what you learn in school." Jay's dad tried to explain. "Just like you practice riding your bike to get faster. You need to practice your schoolwork to get better at it." Jay didn't like hearing that, but he knew his parents were right. The next day, Mrs. Carter explained it a bit more. "Jay," she said, "doing homework helps your brain, just like exercise helps your muscles. It's like practicing for your favorite game. You can't get better if you don't try." Jay thought about how much he loved being the fastest rider on his bike. Maybe homework was like that too. Maybe it was something that would help him get better with practice. That afternoon, Jay decided to try something different. Instead of going straight outside, he sat down and did his homework first. It wasn't as bad as he thought. In fact, he finished fast and still had time to go outside and play with his friends. Over the next few days, Jay started doing his homework every day before going out to play, and his grades got better and better. Jay felt proud of himself. He still had plenty of time for fun, and he was happy.
Lola, the blind baby bulldog. It is Sunday morning at the Cafe Antigua. The sound of people laughing and the smell of pancakes wakes up Lola the bulldog. But she's not alone. She jumps up and whoops. "Hello! Who goes there?" The strange dog replies, "I'm Skippy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I'm new." Lola, still unsure, backs down, less scared, yet still attentive. "I'm sorry, I can't see, and that's why my eyes are a little foggy. It really stings, especially during times like this." Skippy frowns, but he has an idea on how he can help his new friend. "There's so many cool things about life you don't even need to see to love. If you let me, I'll tell you to go enjoy them. You'll see life isn't terrible just because you can't see." Lola thinks about it, unsure whether to trust him. "Okay, but no promises." They're off. After a bit of a hike, Skippy leads Lola up a hill to an ice cream parlor to show her she can taste happiness. Over the loud voices of everyone online, Lola asks, "Where are we?" "We made it to get ice cream. I know they don't make ice cream for pups, but sometimes they drop some for us." Lola and Skippy wiggle through the line until finally, plop! A strawberry cone falls. Skippy lets Lola have the first one. Then, plop! A birthday cake flavored cone falls for Skippy. With their bellies full, Skippy asks, "How did you like it?" "I loved it. I just wish I could see what it was I was eating that was so delicious." Skippy sighs, but they keep going. He leads her to his next spot, a beautiful field of flowers filled with so many exciting smells. Lola doesn't know what to do. She loves the smell of the lavender and the brush of the soft petals of the flowers against her fur. She's amazed. "Well, how about this one? Don't you love the fresh smells of all the different flowers?" "It is so peaceful, but I wish I could see the beautiful colors." Skippy, almost completely losing hope, slowly makes his way to the next stop. On the way, Lola has a run-in with another dog on the street. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there." Lola apologized. The other dog, a scrappy yet cute pup, does not reply. She just slowly keeps going, and Lola is very confused. Skippy explains, "That scrappy little pup is Helen. She went blind and deaf and had a hard time finding her way after being raised outside." Lola thinks about all of her complaining. Why should she be so upset? She has her hearing, and she has an owner who takes care of her. As they get to the last stop, Lola hears the crash of the waves and smells the salt air and feels the warm sand on her paws. Skippy, you were right. I can enjoy life in all these little things. I just needed a good friend like you to show me how. Skippy smiles. I'm glad I could help. They sit and enjoy the peaceful sounds and feelings of the beach until the sun goes down.
Timmy was playing outside when he looked up. He watched the clouds peacefully floating in the sky. Why do clouds float? He wondered. As he was thinking, he saw something jump between two of the clouds. There must be people who live up there, he said. He ran into his house to go tell his mom. Mommy, I think there are people who live in the clouds, Timmy said happily. Sweetie, there can't be any people who live up there, Timmy's mom said. But I saw something jump between the clouds. It was a person, Timmy explained. It must have been a plane or a bird, she said. I'm going to prove it to you, said Timmy. Why else would clouds float? Determined, he ran outside. He was watching the clouds when all of a sudden, whoosh! Timmy saw a shoe falling from the sky. Bam! It landed next to his toys. He found a letter tied to the shoe. It read, Congratulations, you have been chosen to meet with the Sky King. Come to the clouds at sunset tonight, the Royal Sky Palace. But how do I get there? Timmy wondered. Oh, I know! He ran to the side of his house and tried to climb to the top, but thud! He fell down. Then he ran to the tallest tree and started to climb. But as he got higher, he found lots of birds that pecked at his arms. Ow! He cried. He quickly climbed back down to the ground. Now what? Ready to give up, Timmy sat down. The sun was almost setting. I'll never make it, Timmy said sadly. He looked around and something caught his eye. It was his kite. He ran over to it and let it fly. It carried him into the clouds. Wow! Timmy exclaimed with delight. There was a giant palace towering over the tall city buildings, and the people were all different colors. There were purple people with red hair and green people with yellow hair, and so many other colors Timmy couldn't name them. And they were jumping from cloud to cloud. He walked through the palace doors and found the Sky King sitting on his throne of clouds. Congratulations, Timmy, said the Sky King. You have found the people of the sky. You believed in us when no one else did. For that, you have earned this prize. The king handed him a tiny bottle. A bit of our magic cloud. It can do anything you want as long as you believe in it. And it might help your mother believe you too. Wow, thank you, Timmy said. The king then got up and walked him back to his kite. Timmy flew back down and immediately showed his mom the tiny bottle. See, I told you there were people up there, he said excitedly. Well, maybe you can take me to see them one day. She gave him a big hug and Timmy was so happy.
In a faraway land where animals can talk, feel, and inspire, there was a squirrel named Simon. He lives in a tree in a bright green forest where the sun shines through the leaves and the birds sing every morning. Simon lives in his tree by himself. Every morning, he wakes up, brushes his teeth, and gets his clothes on. He leaves his tree and starts running. He runs until he gets to the park with apple and cherry trees. He gathers his food, stuffs his cheeks, and then he begins his run back home. When he returns home, the sun begins to set, and the birds stop singing. He thinks about the day ahead and sighs. Simon dreads waking up every day. He is so bored with his life. He wishes he had friends. He feels that his only purpose is to store food for himself every single day. The next morning, the sun begins to shine, and the birds begin to chirp. Simon wakes up, brushes his teeth, gets dressed, and then begins to run. He runs and runs. He's running, and then he stops. He begins to scan the park. Where are the apple trees? Where are the cherry trees? Suddenly, he is startled. Snap, boom, crack. He spins around and sees a human. A human with a large chainsaw is knocking down all of his trees. Where will he get his food? Simon begins to think to himself.
This can't be happening. How am I going to live if I can't get my food?
Simon begins to panic. He starts running around the park to see if there are any trees left to gather. Just a little bit of food. No luck. Simon gives up, and this time, instead of running, he begins to walk home. He feels hopeless. As he's walking home, he notices his surroundings. There are gardens with beautiful flowers. There are so many beautiful colors. Pink, blue, orange. There is a beautiful pond with swans and ducklings. Simon begins to smile. He has not smiled in a very long time. Simon is so excited that he begins to run again. He is running towards his tree when he bumps into a turtle.
Whoa there, squirrel. Don't be in a hurry all the time. If you took things slow, you could appreciate all of the beautiful things this forest has to offer.
Simon continues to listen excitedly.
My name is Toby. I live right next to your tree in a beautiful garden. Let me show you around.
Toby walks toward the garden and opens the gate. Simon is amazed by the sight. There is a community of all different animals, a surplus of food and beautiful flowers.
Wow, Simon said. I could have been happy all along if I appreciated the beauty around me.
Lucy looked out the window at the gray day with the gray skies. It was raining. It was always raining, and Lucy didn't like the rain. She grabbed her gray rain boots and her gray raincoat and began her walk through the rain puddles to school. She wasn't happy. In fact, she never was. Lucy made it through the day and began to walk home with the same frown on her face. Then she heard Gary skipping from behind her. Gary was the happiest boy in town. Lucy wanted to be happy too. Gary, how are you always so happy? Gary looked at her with a big smile. Good question. My secret is that I always look for all of the brightest colors, every day and everywhere. Gary quickly skipped off and Lucy continued her walk home. The next morning, Lucy opened her eyes and jumped out of bed. Today she was in search for the brightest colors. Just like Gary said, she scanned her room and saw her black bed, white walls, and gray lamp. Lucy sighs. My closet will definitely have the brightest colors. She flings open her doors, and nothing. If she can't find colors in her room, how is she supposed to find colors anywhere else? But then it hits her. My backpack! Lucy runs across the room and zips it open. She looks, and nothing. Lucy takes her bag and stomps out the door. How can I be happy if there are no colors around me? Lucy starts crying as she walks to school, but her sniffling stops. Hi, Lucy. How's your color search going? Gary says. Awful. I can't find anything. He giggles. Well, that's because you don't know the trick. Tell me. Gary chuckles again. Okay. You have to squeeze your eyes shut and sing the colors of the rainbow. Bye. Lucy stares at the classroom clock, waiting at the edge of her seat for the bell to ring. Bing! Lucy scrambles out the door. She stands on the edge of the grass, squeezes her eyes shut, and starts singing the colors of the rainbow. She slowly opens her eyes, looks down, and sees a red beanie hanging from the branch. She giggles and grabs it off the tree. Lucy proudly puts on the beanie and continues. Then a bright orange basketball rolls to her feet. She smiles even bigger and puts it in her bag. Seconds later, she finds the brightest yellow leaf. She happily puts it in her pocket. She then sees a green turtle crossing the street. Lucy is finally noticing the colors around her. She takes a couple more steps and looks up to see a big blue sky. As she walks down her block, she notices a pretty purple jacket hanging on her mailbox. Lucy skips right to the front of her door with the biggest smile on her face. Lucy is beaming with happiness. Gary was right. Life is so much better with the bright colors.
There once was a little house on a big farm, and in that house there lived a family. And to that family belonged a cat named Billy. Billy was an innocent and pure indoor cat that had a great life with no worry. He was loved by his whole family, especially Max, a happy, bumbling toddler who loved nothing more than cuddling with Billy. And Billy felt the same way. But even though Billy had the perfect life, he was longing for something. He wanted to get outside and to explore and be free. In the woods behind the house lived Alex. Alex was a tough and rugged outdoor cat who loved all his freedom. He spent all his time with his friend John, hunting and running and jumping and exploring. But there was a small part of Alex that wished he had a place to call home. One night, Billy's owners left the house for dinner when they mistakenly left the window open. Alex had been patrolling, looking for mice, when he noticed there was a home through the trees. He wanted to get a closer look. Billy was sitting by the window, enjoying the cool summer breeze, when he noticed the cat outside. The two cats' eyes met. With curiosity, Alex began to walk closer to the open window. "You look just like me," the cats said at the same time. At that exact moment, the plan was clear. For both of them, they would switch places. The next morning, the two cats tried to adjust to their new lives. Alex, trying to familiarize himself with his new surroundings, heard a faint squeak coming from behind the couch. It was a mouse. Alex pounced, trying to attack when the mouse spoke. "Wait, don't eat me. I can help you. My name is Mikey." Alex realized it wouldn't be too bad to have a friend around, so he let the mouse go. Billy, on the other hand, had met with John in the woods behind the house. "Now we have to hunt for mice," John said. No thank you," said Billy. He had never even heard a fly. "You have to do it if you want to survive out here," said John. "I'll do it later," thought Billy. Alex was still struggling to adjust. "Now that you have a house, you don't have to hunt for food anymore," Mikey said. Alex went to go see the automatic feeder, but he was frightened by the noises it made. He was starting to miss his friends and running around in the fresh air. Billy did not like the outside. It was dusty and loud. He wanted to go back home. The next day, Max, the baby, was reaching out for Alex, thinking it was Billy. And at the same time, Billy was being forced to pounce on unsuspecting mice. As soon as they got closer and closer, they both realized, "I can't do this anymore." They both yelled. The two cats switched places with a newfound appreciation for their old lives.
Andy the dandy alien loved to travel from planet to planet, and he traveled in his big blue spaceship. While flying from place to place through outer space, Andy became thirsty, and time was not to waste. Andy decided to search for the water at the purple planet Platon. He searched and searched, but it seemed all the water was gone. Andy alien searched for water for days and days, but couldn't find a drop. But the search didn't stop. On day 3, he saw a pond, and the water was very clean. But at the pond stood a very scary Sandy alien. Boy, was she mean. Sandy alien was as big as a tree. How could Andy alien drink from this sea? Getting hurt wasn't worth quenching his thirst. After all, Sandy alien had been there first. "This is the worst," said Andy alien. So again he searched, looking for some water to quench his thirst. As days went by, he started to cry. His mouth started to feel all and dry. Why can't the water just be mine? Can't Sandy drink her water another time? He sat in the lands when another ship landed. It was Randy. Andy said to Randy, "I can't drink the water with the very scary Sandy at the pond. What will I do?" This confused Randy. Sandy is so nice, but his smelly breath and his very big chest. Sandy Alien's the best, said Randy Alien. But the way he seems so scary and mean, said Andy. Well, Sandy is keen. She's not what it seems, said Randy. Randy grabbed Andy's hand and they walked through the land, till they found Sandy. Hi, Randy, said Sandy. Hi, Sandy, said Randy. Would it be dandy if Andy drank some water with you? Well, of course, Andy. Drink till the end. As a matter of fact, can we all be friends? Of course, said Andy, and they all lived as friendly, dandy aliens.
The Tale of Walter the Whale and Friends. Once upon a time, in the big blue sea, there lived a friendly whale named Walter. Walter was not an ordinary whale. He was known for his adventurous spirit and kind heart. He loved exploring the ocean and discovering dazzling destinations with his friends Nina the Narwhal, Tina the Turtle, and Dina the Dolphin. One sunny morning, Walter and his friends decided to explore a part of the ocean they had never visited before. As they swam through crystal clear waters, they came across vibrant coral reefs and playful schools of fish. It was a perfect day for an adventure. However, as they ventured further, they noticed something troubling. The water became murky, and they saw trash scattered everywhere. Walter, Nina, Tina, and Dina were heartbroken to see their beautiful home polluted. They decided to investigate. They followed the trail of trash and soon arrived at a big, busy port where ships were unloading their cargo. Walter and his friends realized that the pollution was coming from the waste being dumped by the ships. Determined to save their home, they came up with a plan to raise awareness about the pollution. Walter, being the loudest, used his wonderful whale song to speak to the sea creatures across the ocean. Nina used her long tusk to collect trash, while Tina and Dina swam to nearby reefs to spread the word. As they worked together, schools of fish, crabs, and even seahorses began to help clean up the ocean. Walter's message reached far and wide, and soon every human at the port took notice. They realized the damage they were causing and decided to make a change. The humans organized a cleanup, and people from all over gathered to remove trash from the ocean. Walter and his friends jumped with joy as the waters became clearer. With normal pollution, Walter, Nina, Tina, and Dina continued on their adventures, but now with a message to spread. They traveled the sea to teach others about the importance of keeping our oceans clean. Their journey had changed them, and they knew that by working together, they could make a difference. Walter and his friends swam through the sparkling sapphire waters with their hearts full of hope and their heads high. They had saved their ocean home. The end.
Once, there was a little village in an icy valley named Flurryville, where lots of penguins lived and played in the snow. Jojo is the most popular penguin in the village because of his amazing talent in sledding. Every year in Flurryville, there is the amazing sledding race in which the whole town participates. Jojo and his partner Flips are everybody's favorite to win this year. Jojo's confident that Flips is as amazing at sledding as he is, but he feels a little nervous about the race. The day before the big race, Jojo and Flips were practicing their sledding when all of a sudden, crash! Ow, my wing! Jojo heard Flips squeal in pain. Flips broke his wing. He would not be able to race with Jojo in the amazing race. Flips was rushed to the emergency wing repair center,
where Jojo sadly and slowly makes his way home when he sees his friend Don and Kaya. Don and Kaya approach Jojo. "Hey Jojo, why do you look so down?" "My partner Flips just broke his wing and won't be able to race tomorrow. I'm going to have to find a new partner," says Jojo. "Oh Jojo, pick me please," says Kaya. "No, pick me Jojo, we will definitely win," says Don. "No, don't listen to him Jojo. If you pick me, I promise we'll win. I'm better than Don," says Kaya. "Jojo, she's crazy. I'm definitely better than her. You better pick me," says Don. Jojo didn't know what to do, so he ran home. On his way home, Jojo saw a penguin that he had never seen before, sitting alone watching another penguin play in the snow. Jojo wanted to investigate, but he was too overwhelmed, so he continued to run home. When Jojo arrived home, he saw his dad waiting for him. Jojo explained everything that happened. "Dad, I don't know what to do. Flips broke his wing and I don't know who to pick for my new partner." Jojo's dad said, "Don't listen to him anymore on who to pick. You are the kindest person I know, Jojo. Listen to your heart and you will pick the right person," says Jojo's dad. After his conversation with his dad, Jojo knew who he should pick. Jojo went to find the lonely penguin he saw before. "Hi, I'm Jojo. What's your name?" "Oh, hi, I'm Bobo. Do you want to be my partner for tomorrow's sledding race?" "Really? Me?" said Bobo. "Definitely," said Jojo. It was the day of the race and Jojo showed up with his new partner Bobo. "Jojo, why did you pick him?" says Kaya. "You messed up, Jojo. Now you're not going to win," said Don. Jojo and Bobo ignored all of them. The race was about to begin and Jojo and Bobo got ready. "On your mark, get set, go!" Everyone was off to the race. Jojo and Bobo started off in last place, but they continued to pass everyone. The race was over and Jojo and Bobo crossed the finish line first. And the winners are Jojo and Bobo! "Thank you so much, Jojo. This is the best day of my life," said Bobo. Jojo and Bobo became friends for the rest of their lives after the race.
This is the story of a kitten named Sissi. She's friendly, sweet, filled with love and energy. At the moment, she lives in a shelter with all of the other kittens her age. Sissi may not look different, but she has a slight sneezing problem. Families come to the shelter where she lives and adopts all of her friends, but Sissi's left behind because, achoo! They think she's sick. This makes Sissi so sad. Today, a family of 3 came to the shelter, and they loved Sissi so much they spent hours playing with her and just bonding. Then, just before she was about to get adopted, she sneezed all over them. Achoo! Ew! She must have some kind of disease. No thank you, they said while going off to the other kittens. Sissi was so sad, and the other kittens snickered and whispered about her. However, she stayed strong and ignored them. The next person that came in to see her was a young child with his mother. Once again, everything was great until he picked her up and she started to feel a tingle in her nose. She tried her best to hold it back, and then she sneezed so big, her snot went all over his face. Achoo! You can't imagine it didn't go too well after that. Even though she felt like she was crying, she told herself that one day she could have a family just like her. Friends who have already left the shelter. An older cat named Melina, who's always been kind to her, reassures her that someday, soon, she'll find a home. But Melina, they call me boogers and sneeze. It hurts my feelings when I can't change how I am. Sissi pleads with her eyes filled with tears. Melina simply says she shouldn't listen to the mean other kittens. They're just jealous that she gets all the attention. Never lose hope, Sissi. Your cheerful spirit is what makes you special, Melina replied. However, The next day, a girl with her mother and younger cousin came in and immediately went to Sissi because she's the cutest. Once again, she tried her best not to, but unfortunately she couldn't hold it in and she sneezed, achoo! But she looked up and it was the girl who sneezed with her. Bless you, the volunteer said. Thanks, I just have allergies, the girl replied. They decided that Sissi realized she found someone who gets her, and now she can only hope they feel the same. They played and bonded together for the whole day, and it felt like a dream come true. When they started signing papers, that's how she knew she had found her forever family like she's always wanted, and nothing else mattered. Finally, Sissi never has to come to this place and be sad because she has a mama that will love her forever.